What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be answering the question as to why this 1990 Mazda Miata is taking over C-Class in Forza. This thing has a 1.6 liter inline 4 pushing 186 horsepower and 154 foot-pounds of torque. It weighs 1,900 pounds with a almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution. According to Forza, this thing has a 4.4 rating for handling, 4.5 for braking, 2.8 for acceleration, and a 1.0 for speed. Not only do the stats show that this car is fast, this thing is fast at Brands Hatch, Lime Rock, and even the Nürburgring. This thing is in the top 10 in Rivals for all three of these tracks. So with all that being said, let's jump into it and see what we can do. Alright, so here we are. We are at the Hockenheim Ring, the short circuit. We're going to be starting off in 14th position, as I did not qualify on purpose. But right off the bat, you're going to notice that our gear indicator is gone, so that was cool. This guy forgetting to start at the start of the race. As we maneuver our way past the start line, heading into turn 1, we're going to take the outside line as we always do and always make the same mistake, and we get pushed off into turn 1 by the Miata going a little bit wide. We're going to be tugging in behind him here as we head into turns 2 and 3. Get a really good entry into turn 2, which means we're going to get a really good run out of turn 2 into turn 3 as we head down to the Parabolica. We get a really good run out of turn 3, ducking behind the Ford ahead. We're going to go in between these two guys, heading down the straight into turn 5 and 6. The Ford is actually going to have a little bit of a dive up the inside as we just concede the position to him. Not trying to get any contact or gain any penalties this early in the race, as we will take the position back with a little bit of a lunge on the inside there. So coming out of Mercedes into turn 9 and 10, trying to get a really good run out of there, as this car and C-Class as a whole is very much about momentum. Closing the gap to it be like that in front of us in the Toyota. A little bit of trail braking as we come through there. Heading into Sachs here, diving in on the inside. A little bit of a lockup by us as second place loses the rear and ends up taking out third as well. So we move up into second place. So overall, we gained about 12 positions in a lap. I'd also like to point out that I'm very much an average player when it comes to this. So it is a true testament to how well this car handles and performs in C-Class. As we jump ahead, we end up closing about that 3.5 second gap to first. It is lap 4 of 4 here as we are heading into Mercedes. Get a little bit of oversteer as we come out of there. We're pushing rather hard, trying to close this gap. First place does have a 6/10 penalty, so we are working with that. And a mistake by first place there as he goes off wide. We're going to be ending up closing this gap quite a bit. As you would think, we would make a lunge here on the inside. But as I'd like to point out, we are not going to make a lunge on the inside, as we are not the typical Miata driver. We're going to play it slow here and try and force him into another mistake, as we are putting the pressure on. As we come into Mercedes, a little bit of a lockup by us. The gap is just about around what he has for a penalty, so we are neck and neck right now. He does get really loose coming out of there. As we head into the final corner here, he swings it way wide and comes across our nose. We slam on the brakes to avoid contact, and we cross the line, and it is a very close drag race to the finish, and we end up securing the win by 0.2 of a second. So let's jump into race 2 and see what we can do there. Alright, so here we are, race 2, diving into turn 1, as this fellow Miata goer turns right into a left-hand corner. And yeah, that basically Alright, so race 3 here. We ended up actually qualifying this time, as I don't want to start from the back of the pack anymore. Gonna get a good launch off of the line here as we dive down into turn 1. This Mazda to our right here, Bloody Gears 1, was a really good driver. Have a really good race with him this race. So stay tuned for that. As we head into the Mercedes arena here, going to do a little touch of trail braking, getting the front end to bite as we go through there. Going to swing this a little bit wider than I would like, as I am pushing almost too hard, trying to increase the gap behind. So a couple of mistakes here in lap 1 as Bloody Gears is coming up behind us rather quickly. He does take a look on the inside, forcing us defensive, taking that corner a little too shallow, causing us to swing wide, so opening a gap for him as we enter the Michelin curve here. We end up edging him out through the Michelin curve as we might have a little bit more top speed, but we're going to be neck and neck as we dive down into the Advan curve here. We're actually going to jump ahead about 2 laps as me and Bloody Gears have a very good, clean battle as we come into the final lap. So let's jump ahead. So here we are, turn 1, final lap, closing that gap in on Bloody Gears as he goes a little too wide into turn 1. Car behind, pushing, but we are solely focused on securing that first place position and going full attack mode here. So our main goal right now is just trying to force him into making a mistake as we get a little bit of snap oversteer there and take a little too much curve as third place, who was pressuring us from behind, is no longer in the equation as he goes off way wide there. Really tight coming through here and trying to tuck in behind him and get as much of a draft as I can. A little bit of a look on the inside, but he blocks off the inside as I make a mean dive in on the inside here. He does not see it coming, and we make contact. I try and spin him back around by hitting his right front there, but failed, and I actually end up waiting for him as me and him had a very good race, very clean race, and that was just an honest mistake on both of our parts. So end up waiting for him, but I end up losing out on about 6 positions. So with all that being said, the stats on this car back it up. I mean, it is a very well balanced car. It has the perfect amount of power, and it is perfect for C-Class. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.